Hello and welcome, ayo, to Salary Voodoo with Monk right here on the MMA Engine channel. It is I, your host, the Monkmatician, and I am here to break down 3 fights, maybe a bonus fight, for UFC 281 from a Salary Voodoo perspective. Guys, you know what it is. You know what we do here. Let's take about 20 minutes and get through a couple of these fights so you know what fights to target for UFC 281, and you know what fights to throw out the window for UFC 281. So guys, without further ado, let's get right into it. What is Salary Voodoo? Salary Voodoo offers stats that aim to give you a fresh, unique angle when it comes to DFS, MMA DFS lineup construction, especially in GPP tournaments. I glean stats from historically unusual places, such as salaries, fight positions, weight classes, etc. Probability based and very heavily overanalyzed. Comment the fights from UFC Vegas 65, guys. That is next week that you want to see from a Salary Voodoo perspective. That's how I get all the fights that we talk about. You guys are so generous commenting down below what fights you want to see. We don't know the salaries yet. We just know the matchups. That makes it even more fun. So be sure to get in those comments right now. Do it right now. You got time. Just don't even pause it. Just go down to the comments while I'm talking about you going to the comments and put a fight down there. Put 2 fights down there. Put as many fights as you want down there, and I will pick 3 of them that we will talk about from a Salary Voodoo perspective. All Salary Voodoo stats are tracked since January 1st of 2021. And only natural salaries are used for calculations totaling $16,200. Guys, if you have any questions about what we're doing here, comment those down below as well. But be sure to comment those fights so we have something to go on next week. Guys, without further ado, let's get into the recap of last week. We crushed it. I said play Tajir and Nate Manis. We had a Bernie right there. That means play the fight in GPPs. And what do you know? Tajir made optimal lineup over 100 points. I told you to target Neil Magny and D-Rod, that was a great fight to play from a Salary Voodoo perspective. And what happened? Neil Magny made the optimal lineup, scoring 110 points. And I said to stay away from the main event, Marina Rodriguez and Amanda Lemos. And what happened? Lemos with the upset, but the lowest scoring fight of the entire night, totaling like 80-some points between the two of them. Didn't even come close to the optimal lineup. So guys, we went 3 of 3 in my opinion. What is going to happen this week for UFC 281? Let's get into it. First fight of the night picked by AJ Philbrick. Thank you so much, AJ. I mean, all you guys got to do is comment down below and your name could be read on the MMA Engine channel. What else could you ask for? I mean, my goodness. He picked a light heavyweight fight. First fight of the night, a great pick. 8,400, 7,800. Who do we got at those salaries? Ulberg and Nicky Gums, baby. Nikolai Negumereanu. This is a light heavyweight fight. Light heavyweights make optimal 51% of the time. Fight number 1, bad fight to target. Only someone comes from that fight. 43.75% of the time is optimal. That is not a good rate. One of the lowest on the entire, out of all fights, I should say. But the salary pair of 8,400 and 7,800 makes optimal 59.15% of the time, guys. That's a fantastic number. And we are under leveraged by 7.5%. That means we got to get them in our lineup 7.5% more often than we have them in right now. The average ownership for 8,400, 27.33. That is a high ownership. We are over leveraged to that position 2%, guys. If you see positive leverage, you do not want that. That means you got to be under. That means they're only making optimal at about a 25% rate. We have an orthodox versus orthodox fight here. So 50% of the time, orthodox wins, as you would expect. Finish win rate for 8,400 is 24%. Decision win is exactly the same, 24%. You want the finish to be higher than the decision, especially when you're talking DraftKings, but this is pretty close. 7,800, average ownership is 24.5%. We are under leveraged by 9.33%, guys. 9% under leverage. Put $7,800 in your lineups, guys. It makes optimal 9% more than its average ownership. Finish win for this salary is 18.3. Decision win is almost 30, but still it's finding a way to make the optimal at almost a 33, almost 34% rate. Let's go into the actual optimal stats. These two salaries have fought each other 71 times. 8,400 has made optimal 18 of those times for a 25.35% optimal rate. Anything over 25 is pretty good. Anything over 30 is fantastic. And we are over that 25% mark right here, which is good. The win rate, though, less than ideal. 48% win rate for the favorite salary. When it does win, 8,400 makes optimal 49.3% of the time. and scores an average of 93.27 points per win, guys. These are all red numbers. That means the other side has better numbers. The dog salary is what we are focusing on this one. 71 times used, 24 times optimal for an optimal rate of almost 34%. This is what I mean when I said 7,800 was 9% under leveraged. Put this guy in your lineups, guys. Optimal rate of 33% is crazy. A win rate of less than 50, not good, but it's still better than the favorite salary of 49.3%. When it does win, 7,800 makes optimal 68.5% of the time and scores 95.67 points per win. Guys, these are fantastic numbers, especially from the dog salary side of things. So what are we going to get? Are we going to get a Bernie? Are we going to get a Frozen Jack? What is the Salary Voodoo here? I know what it is. What do you guys think? Let's get right into it. It's a Bernie. You see Bernie, you know. Let me adjust my camera. Oh God. I'm still here. You can, there it is. You see a Bernie, you know we got that good Salary Voodoo, guys. And this is no joke. No different than any other Bernie you see. Target this fight, first fight of the night. Ulberg, the salary score for 8,400 is 7.92, 12th best overall. So top half, very good at 12th best out of 30 possible salaries. And the 7,800 from Nicky Gums, 6.45 salary score. That is the 5th best number overall, guys. I keep seeing that 9% under leverage. I'll be smashing Nicky Gums in my, that sounded bad. Sorry, Nicky. I'll be putting him in a ton of my lineups is what I'm trying to say. I'll have some of Ulberg too. This is a great fight to target first fight of the night. Man, I want to see somebody get finished in this fight. The Salary Voodoo does as well, and we got that Bernie. So get these guys in your lineup. Thank you, AJ. Second fight that we're going to go into is going to be 8,500 and 7,700. Who do we have? We have Matt Frevola, and we have Azaitar, the bagman himself, picked by Mahler 138. Thank you, Mahler. Lightweight fights make optimal 53.15% of the time. That's fantastic. This, as of now, is the 5th fight of the night. 51.25%. That's another fantastic number there. Anything over 50 is right up my alley. And then the salary pair of 85 and 77 makes optimal. One of them makes optimal 58.67% of the time, and it's underused 7.5%, guys. Another very underutilized salary pair here. And I'll tell you, one side is much more I almost said much more better, is much better than the other, and you will see here shortly. If you've looked ahead, you already know. The $8,500 salary has an average ownership of 27.4%, and we are over leveraged 3.4%, guys. We are over, again, another favorite salary that people are playing too often just because it's the favorite. Too often. We have an Orthodox versus a switch fighter here. Orthodox, when Orthodox fights switch, Orthodox wins 53.04% of the time. Finish rates for 8,500 is 28%. Decision rate is 20%. So we have a much higher finish rate, which is always something we're looking for when it comes to DraftKings. $7,700 salary. What do we get? 23.69% average ownership, guys. You thought the last one was under leveraged. 7,700 is being under owned 11%. Get $7,700 in your lineup. Do it right now. This is the highest, the best leverage spot on the entire card. Let me just make sure. Am I lying about that? It does not look like it. 10.97 under leverage is the highest leverage spot on the card. Get 7,700 in your lineup. We're only using 23.5%, and it should be 34.5%. 11% under. I can't stress this enough. Put 7,700 in your lineups, guys. These two have fought each other 77 and 85, 75 times. 8,500 has made optimal 18 of those 75 times for a 24% optimal rate. Not ideal. Like I said, anything over 25 is good. We are just below that threshold. Win rate of 49.33%. So basically 50-50 for an 85-77. That is interesting. And then a 49.33% optimal in win rate for the $8,500 salary. Scores 98 points per win. These are okay numbers, but nothing compared to the dog salary. 7,700 is one of the best salaries to play overall, and it is a dog salary. And here's why, guys. It's made the optimal lineup 26 out of 75 times for an optimal rate of 34, almost 35%. This is one of the highest rates out of all salaries. Again, its win rate is basically 50-50, and when 7,700 does win, it makes optimal over 70%. of the time. These numbers are crazy high, and 98.97 points per win. Guys, you know what it is. I mean, the $8,500 salary is decent. It's decent. It's okay. It's not bad at all. And the 7,700 just blows it out of the water. Of course it's a Bernie. Why wouldn't it be a Bernie? This fight is something you absolutely have to target, especially the dog side. I said this on my game theory video, link below in the description. Check out game theory. I break down all 14 fights from a DraftKings perspective. I'm huge on the bag man this week. So give me, I mean, salary score for Frevola, so that's hard to say, is 8.25, 13th best overall. That is not bad. It is above average. If we have 30 salaries, average is 14, 15, 16. This is 13, making it above average. Meanwhile, the bag man, 6.33 points is the salary score. Third best salary overall to target. Overall. In fact, I'll let you know a secret here. 9,500 is number 1. 8,600 is number 2. And 7,700 is number 3, guys. Play $7,700. We're so under leveraged. It's not even funny. Bernie will tell you. I'm telling you, play this fight, guys. Next fight. And thank you, Mahler. Thank you, Mahler. Appreciate that. Love seeing you in the comments as usual. Next fight picked by my guy, Tommy Touchy, 8,900 and 7,300. This one, look at Michael Chandler's face here. What is this pose? I mean, is this like a Luke Rockhold cologne commercial? Like, I can't do it. Poirier and Chandler, 8,900. Again, another lightweight fight, 53.15% of the time. But we read that last time. Fight number 12, 51.02%. Not bad. Not bad. Over 50. The salary pair. Here's where the tables turn. 8,900 and 73. Someone only makes the optimal lineup from these two salaries less than 40%, 39% optimal. And we are over leveraged 10.5%, guys. This is one that means you need to pump your brakes on this fight. We're just throwing these guys in, especially the $8,900 side. I mean, well, let's just get into it. 8,900 average ownership is 29%. We are over leveraged 10.31%. That means it makes optimal at a less than 19% rate for $8,900. That's crazy. Southpaw versus Orthodox. Southpaw has a 52.96% win rate when it fights Orthodox, and the finish percentage of 8,900 is 26.56, and the decision percentage is almost 40. Almost 40, so much higher decision win than finish win. That's something we like to avoid when playing DraftKings. Meanwhile, the dog salary here finishes 25.33%, so basically the same as the $8,900 salary. Decision win is only 24, as you would expect. I don't expect a win rate anywhere close since these two are so far apart in salary. The average ownership for 7,300 is 20.58%, and we are right where we need to be. The leverage is technically over 0.26%, but right at 20.5%, 20% is where we should be for the $7,300 salary. Now let's get into it. These two have fought each other 64 times. 8,900 has made optimal 12. That's it, out of 64 for a 18.75% optimal rate. That is trash. That is very, very bad. And don't give me, oh, it's because it's such a high salary. I just told you that 9,500 has almost a 50% win rate, and it's the best salary there. So that does not equate for me. Just because it's a high salary means it can't make optimal. That's bullshit, straight up. So 8,900 is just a bad salary. It has a great win rate of 65.5%. But when it wins, it only makes optimal 28.5% of the time. Average score per win is just 97. So not great numbers from the $8,900 salary. Meanwhile, 7,300 makes the optimal more times, 13, one more time than the $8,900 counterpart, 20%. Again, not a good number. Like I said, you want at least 25. We're at 20. The win rate, 31.25%, not great. But when it does win, 65% of the time it makes optimal. 88.5 points per win is not good at all. So these numbers are bad. I definitely would be leaning the $7,300 side if I was strictly playing from a Salary Voodoo perspective, but I would also, more importantly, be looking to fade this fight. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Frozen Jack, you see him there. That means we got that bad Salary Voodoo. I would not be focusing on this fight. I mean, look at the salary scores, guys. 10.36 for 8,900. That is the 22nd best out of 30. So we are well below average. 7,300 is just a bit better. 9.66, 21st out of 30. So it is better than its favorite counterpart, but not by much. This one, I mean, the name value alone says you should play this. The optimal history says you should play this, but the salary voodoo perspective, maybe, I'm not saying fade it into oblivion, but just temper expectations on this fight as a whole. Plus the Michael Chandler trying to look like he's doing a Joaquin Phoenix impression, trying to try out for Joker, just kind of should help you with that as well. So just fade this one a bit. Don't take it to zero, but just like I said, temper expectations. And guys, that's where we would usually end it, 3 fights, but you know how we do for pay-per-views. This is UFC 281. We got ourselves a bonus fight, and it's going to be the main event. Shout out to Green, the Green Reaper. Thanks, my guy, for commenting again. Love seeing you in the comments. It's the main event. Izzy and Pereira, 8,600 against 7,600. Guys, this is a middleweight fight. 51% of the time middleweights make optimal, so right about what the lightweights were doing. All of them so far have been over 50% from these weight classes. Fight number 14 is a terrible fight to target. However, it's only been used 14 times. It's made optimal 6 times for a rate of 42.86%, but title fights, that's a different story. Title fights, someone has made optimal from those title fights 65% of the time, guys. So overall, the title fight outweighs the 14th fight, and we got ourselves a good one here. That's why it's green. And the salary pair of 86 and 76, someone makes it 60.81% of the time, which is ridiculously high, and it's also underused by 9%. So it actually makes the optimal more closer to like 69% of the time. Almost actually, yes, 69, 70% of the time. So put this fight in your lineups. This one might be a little different for me, honestly. I just, the Izzy side, he's not a good DraftKings scorer. Pay attention to my game theory video. Link will be in the description. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about salaries, not fighters. So the average ownership for 8,600 is 27.58%, and we are under leveraged to that position by 9%, guys. Get 8,600 in your lineup. 8.9% under. I mean, my gosh, its optimal rate is crazy. We have a switch stance fighter versus orthodox fighter. In those fights, switch only wins 46.09% of the time. Finish win rate for 8,600 is 38%. Decision rate is 30. So again, we have a great number there. 38, finishes higher than decisions. That's exactly what we're looking for, and it's by 8%. So that is not a small number. 7,600. 24.26% average ownership, and we're right where we need to be on leverage, minus 0.07. That's exactly where we need to be, 24%. Finish rate for 7,600 is 20.27, and decision rate is 12.16. So not a good win rate, but the finish wins is, again, 8% higher than decision win. That is what we like to see. These two salaries have fought each other 74 times, and 8,600 has made optimal more than any. This is the highest number out of all salaries, 27 times out of 74 for an optimal rate of 36.49%. What an incredible number. I would say anything over 30 is fantastic. We're over 36 here, so that is absolutely insane. It's one of the best optimal rates out of all salaries. Also has a fantastic win rate, almost 68%. When it does win, it's optimal higher than 50% of the time, which is rare for a favorite salary. 54% optimal in wins, and it scores 98.5 points per win. Meanwhile, the dog salary isn't terrible here. 18 times it's made optimal, just under that 25% optimal rate. Has a win rate, is a bit low, 32.43%, but when it does win, it makes optimal 65% of the time. Average DraftKings points per win at 104, the highest number we've seen on this entire show. Guys, these numbers might seem low compared to 86, but they are no joke when you compare them to the rest of the field. What is the verdict here? Are we going to have a cursed fight in our main event or a blessed fight? The Green Reaper, what do you think? Well, I know. It's a Bernie. It is a blessed fight. You picked a good one. The salary score of 8,600 is 6.07. As you heard me say earlier, that this is the second best salary to target overall. 7,600, 8.53 salary score. It's just it's average. It's barely above average. Out of 30 salaries, it is the 14th highest. You put those together, and this is definitely a fight to target. Like I said, guys, check out my DraftKings video to pair this with it, and you'll know exactly how to play it. Let's get into the recap before we get out of here under 20 minutes. First fight we gave you was 8,400 and 7,800. That is a Bernie in the Ulberg Nicky Gums fight. We gave you 85 and 7,700. Another Bernie with Frevola against the Bagman. Especially the underdog there is a great play. Then we gave you the Coco main event of the evening. Dustin Poirier going against the weird facial structure there of Michael Chandler. We gave you that as a cursed fight, a frozen jack. Don't fade it to 0, but just be careful with that one. And then the main event, the bonus fight, we gave you Izzy and Alex Pereira. That is one to target according to Salary Voodoo. 8,600 is the best, second best salary you can play overall. I might not agree with that because of who's fighting, but that is what the Salary Voodoo says, guys. That's going to do it for UFC 281. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, be sure to comment them down below. And hopefully you've already commented the fight for UFC Vegas 65. Without further ado, guys, I got to get prepped and ready for the Pub Sports Radio Show tonight, Wednesday, at 6 p.m. Be sure to check that out. You can hear how I'm making one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Let's not get it twisted. And then Friday, me and Lou, Monk and Lou's Happy Hour on this very channel, the MMA Engine. Also in the description, like I said before, check out my game theory video that is on the Monkmatician channel, where I break down all 14 fights from a DFS perspective. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. As usual, I want all of you to enjoy the fight. So enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.